small sheep, not the one you slaughter for Adha, like a small fake one. And if it falls, what's going to happen? It's going to destroy itself. It's going to destroy itself. Now, the Prophet ﷺ gave us a different example. He's talking about the pasture, but at the borders of this pasture is the land of the king. It's the land of the king. And you know that if you go anywhere near that land, you're going to be punished. You're going to be punished. What are you going to do with your sheep? You're going to make sure that they don't even get to the border, that there's some kind of barrier between the sheep and the king's pasture, if you will, or the king's sacred area, his sanctum. Likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibitions. You have this area in which you can do whatever you want to do, inshallah. But once you go beyond that, you are being disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those are his prohibitions. You have to stay away from them. And that is why some of the scholars of Islam, the early scholars of Islam, used to say that you will never have true faith until you put a barrier of halal between you and the haram. What does that mean? How do you put a barrier of halal between you and haram? Anybody have an example? A real life example. Yes. To get married. Getting married is halal? No, it might be wajib. Depends. طيب. Yes. Allahu Akbar. That's a very good example. It's a little different than what we talked about, but it's a good example. Praying sunnahs to protect your fard. Okay? Praying at its earliest time to protect delaying the prayer. So what happens now? Let's just think about it. Somebody prays 5 times a day. They don't do any sunnahs whatsoever. They never pray before Fajr. They don't pray before Dhuhr. They don't pray after Dhuhr, after Maghrib, after Isha. There's no Nafilah. There's no Witr. There's no anything. He prays 5 times a day. Is that okay? Yes. It's okay. It's okay. All right. However, if he becomes weak in Iman, and he leaves off as-salat, what is he left off? He's left off an obligation. Compare him with somebody who always prays 2 rakats before Fajr. Prays after Maghrib, he prays after Isha. Maybe he doesn't do anything around Dhuhr, he's at work. Okay. He gets weak. He leaves off sunnahs after Isha. Still didn't fall into anything haram. You understand the concept? Making sure that there's a barrier between you and the haram. Now we get to the point of this hadith, because again, like I said, we're not going to do an exhaustive explanation. Verily, in the body, there is a piece of flesh. أَلَا إِنَّ فِي الْجَسَدِ مُضْغَةً إِذَا صَلَحَتْ صَلَحَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ وَإِذَا فَسَدَتْ فَسَدَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ أَلَا وَهِيَ الْقَلْبُ. In the body, there is a piece of flesh. When it is upright, the entire body is upright. And when it is corrupt, then the entire body is corrupt. Indeed, it is the heart. طيب إخوان, brothers and sisters. If we were to put a title of this hadith, our book is called what? The Nature of the Heart and Its Importance. We're going to do this one together, not with your partner. We're going to do this one together. What title would you give this hadith? The Nature of the Heart and Its Importance. What title would you give so that it relates to the book under which we are studying? Avoiding doubtful matters. Sincerity. Sanctuary. Protecting the heart. Okay, now we're getting hotter. Yes? Huh? I can't hear you. Raise your voice. A sound heart. How does this hadith tell you anything about a sound heart? Fencing the heart. Okay. It's a nice one. Yeah, anybody else? Yes. Immunity for the heart. Immunity? As in like immunization? Like give it a shot? Okay. That's unique. Protecting the heart from doubtful matters. Okay. Okay. Sorry? Cautioning the heart? Okay. What did the Prophet ﷺ say at the end? He says, in the body there's a piece of flesh. When it is upright, the entire body is upright. When it is corrupt, then the entire body is corrupt. What could we draw out of that as a title for this hadith? Taqwa? Hold on, who said fencing the heart? You said, huh? I like fencing the heart. But here, because we're talking about the importance of the heart, then could we say that the heart is the leader? That the heart is the king? That the heart, something like that. Especially because the Prophet ﷺ did mention that every king has a saying, even though he's talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But here, if we look at it, the rest, or we can say the body follows the heart, for example. Something like that. Because what we want to talk about is the importance of the heart. Why are we studying about this heart? Because the heart controls everything else in the body. When the heart is right, the rest of the body will be right. It's going to be upright. And if it's not, then the rest of the body is not going to be upright. So this hadith is the most, it shows in terms of the hadith which show the importance of the heart. Perhaps this is the one that is most on topic. And that is that everything else is controlled by the heart. And that's why I want my heart to be right. Because if my heart is right, my relationship with my spouse is going to be great. My relationship with my neighbors is going to be great. With my coworkers is going to be great because my heart is right. My body is going to be right. What I do is going to be right. My relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to be excellent if my heart is upright. The Prophet ﷺ in this hadith is basically telling us that if the heart is sound, you're going to be okay. And so it's an encouragement for us to nurture these hearts. What are we doing today? What is the whole purpose of being here? It's to go through these prophetic teachings so that we can learn what we're supposed to do to get the heart right. Well, like, you can come. You can spend 7 hours, and probably we spent a lot more than that, learning how to pray. Right? Okay, so let's go through the motions. Where do I put my hands when I say Allahu Akbar? Where should they be level to? Shoulders or? Wow, subhanAllah. How should my fingers be? Should they be like this? Should they be outstretched, spread? Like, see, look, Allahu Akbar. The Prophet ﷺ says, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni salli. Pray as you have seen me pray. And so we know, alhamdulillah, many of us, of course, for those of you who have been Muslim for any significant period of time, or have studied Islam for any significant period of time, you've probably seen Sheikh Al-Albani's Sifatul Salah, right? Which goes into detail. Jazakallah khairan. Wa rahimahullah. And then you find, for example, Sheikh Ibn Baz has a similar book. And Sheikh Uthaymeen has a similar book on how to pray. And we go through it and we learn those motions, and that's important. However, what is it that pushes you to pray? Sorry? Speak up. Somebody said fear, huh? Raise your hand if you said fear. Okay, tell you. Fear motivates some people. Love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala motivates some people. A combination of love and fear and hope motivate believers in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They pushed it. Where is that found? In the heart. Who are you praying to? You're praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What in your body knows Allah? What was created to know Allah? Your heart. Like Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala said, everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created in your body has a function. And if it loses that function, then it is either sick or, in other words, it has an illness. So the eye was created to see. If the eye does not see, then it is considered to be diseased. It has an illness. Your ear was created to hear. Your eardrums. The point is, the heart was created to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if the heart does not know Allah Azza wa Jal, then it is either diseased or it is dead. And so this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ is showing us how much importance we need to be putting on our hearts. This is why Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala says that this hadith is half of the deen. This hadith is half of the deen. Some of the scholars said in explaining that statement of Imam Shafi'i, that's because your deen is internal and external. And so this hadith is telling us about the importance of the internal. However, Ibn al-Mulaqqin rahimahullah ta'ala said that no, this hadith in fact encompasses the entire religion. Because it talks about your external ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the halal and the haram, and it talks about your internal when dealing with the heart. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. The point is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created this heart to know Him, that if the heart becomes blind, then we will not know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we don't take care of our hearts and they become diseased and corrupted, then the entire body will become diseased and corrupted. I'm going to move quickly, inshallah. Sheikh Salman, how do I go down on this? How do I get to